this is the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and I would just say support all athletes, boys, girls, anyone who wants to compete and be forces in our cultural moment. So thank you so much.
The Unofficial Lounge with Ashante, Grayvon, and Monty. We're here to give you the insight into some of the biggest plays you remember, involving the people wearing the stripes. We look at the grit it takes to become an official while exploring the history of officiating with the people who made it. It's more than black and white.
All right, you gotta ask permission next time, Monty, okay? Right. Ask permission to record, okay?
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Unofficial Lounge. We are joined at just one of the gentlemen, that not only has helped a lot of officials, mentored a lot of officials, but really has been a great guest for us coming onto the show each and every year. I saw him a couple of days ago. He goes, "Why do you want me back again?" I go, "Hey, we have to have you every single year because you bring a lot of value to our show, and we really appreciate all of what you do for officiating." And plus, he just stepped away from on the field. He's still active. He's probably more active now.
It's probably worse.
Right.
He's watching more film.
Right, exactly. But he's involved in USFL. We'll talk about how he's involved now with the Big Ten. He's involved with the local Southern California Division III football conference. Please welcome back to the show, Mr. Steve Strimling.
Yay.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
No, it's our pleasure, Steve. We really appreciate you coming on the show. You really bring so much, not only to our show, but to officiating as a whole. And you are one of those guys to where if you want to learn how to do this the right way from all different aspects, because now you're starting to get into, you were on field, you were a supervisor, now you're getting into the replay side, which we'll talk about. You're hitting all sides when it comes to this world of officiating. You're one of the best people to talk to when it comes to just somebody really understand this so-called avocation, as Monty calls it, that we get ourselves into.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, only thing he's not doing yet is selling uniforms. He's touching every aspect.
No, he's selling them sneakers, though.
I'm talking about for football.
We well, if you need something, we have a couple of discounts coming your way. So
Right.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, I mean, when it comes to the textiles and that world of he also is heavily involved with that as well. So Steve, let's jump it right off. I mean, a big move this off season. You may still wear the white hat, but we won't see it from our angle anymore. If you can get into it, what made you decide to where, this is the move for me at this point in time?
Yeah, the first thing is, after you've worked a few years and you start seeing the other side, and talking to a lot of people, the one thing that we would always say is, I want to make sure you go too soon rather than too late. But I will tell you, when you get to that point, that really goes out the window. And, if you ever look at someone and goes, gee, they went a little too long, wait till you get into those shoes. But hopefully at some point, I'd love someone to say, you did go too soon. But, there was a couple of factors. I had the privilege the last several years of working in different aspects. So, there were potential opportunities that were coming up, and maybe you take those while they're open. There were some supervisor jobs and there were other things. I think along the way, and everyone I worked for were very, very good people, very nice people, but in the nicest way, I had some philosophical differences with how things were being done. And in the game today, it was just, everything was so important that if you didn't feel 100% working for your bosses, at some point it's not their issue, it's your issue.
Right.
And that factored a little bit into it. That the timing was right, that if I was starting to work where I knew more than, and I was going to show that I knew more than the people that were in charge, that was wrong, regardless of the situation. And therefore it was time to move on.
Right.
And different, like I say, different opportunities arose. It is, we're going into week 1, week 0 passed. It is sort of gut wrenching. I envy those who are still out there. I think I could still be out there, but it's not the right thing. I am truly happy watching games in a capacity to help. That doesn't bother me, but there is something about preparation and the anxiety that goes into it and the amount of prep. And I can tell you that I don't have that feeling every day. What I'm doing, I put 100% in, but it's different being on the field. And I envy, and I'm going to live vicariously through this group of people.
There you go.
Yeah.
And when you say that now, I think, you still are heavily involved. You still are going to be active and engaged, and still right. Sounds like the right opportunity comes about, right thing comes, you will be more than happy, because we all know you're more than capable to continue on doing what you were doing on the field. But now you don't have that same anxiety, because now, in a sense, it's just you, right? It's not the whole crew, which I'm starting to experience, getting closer to it now.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just don't get to show up anymore. As a referee, you had all those years to where you were the crew chief, and you were worried about so many different aspects leading up to it, let alone just getting to the game and working the game. It was all the extra around it.
Yeah, I think referees in general have learned, when they pack their bag, they're ready to work. All of their stuff is done. All of their officiating stuff is done.
Right.
When they get there, it's all about everything else. What does anybody else need? What could come up? I can handle it. If you time a meeting so tight that you have no room, then it's really a defeatist situation. And you're going to understand that. And you are understanding that you are so ready to go that when you get there, that 2 or 3 hours is all about everybody else. Right. And what else could come up, and I can handle it, and I'm still ready.
Right.
And so that's different. And the other thing that's come up is, and it's not anything intentional, but you're not on as many study groups, and you're sort of fighting. Wait, when did that rules quiz come out? And I'm just deathly afraid of falling behind. And I was on the field, and it wasn't that I was better than anyone, but I wasn't going to let anything pass me by, and I wasn't going to let other people be better than me. And there's a little bit of a struggle right now, because you're perceived, well, you may be in replay, you may be in that, but I'm trying to keep everybody like, just send me whatever it is that you sent me before. I don't want to lose that, because we've talked to various supervisors, and they'll tell you year after year, as the year goes on, they're a little less up to date on every part of the rule. It's bigger picture stuff, it's admin stuff, and that's sort of the withdrawal syndrome that I'm starting to see, and I'm trying to fight it to keep up with everything, and there's various ways. So.
Now, can you tell us more of what your new capacity this season, during the season, will be this college football season?
Well, yeah, and it's actually something changed today, and I think that, I don't know when this will air. What I did take a position is in the with the COC, working for the COC. I'm working as a replay command center supervisor. So they've gone to collaborative. They will have a replay official in the command center monitoring every game. And then I'm one of 3 supervisors that will monitor the various games. And hopefully, it will never come to the point where I have to make a decision. It would have to be one of those, oh my God, what do we do here moments that's really not covered in the rule book. The main goal is training. It's when going through the game and making sure that all the processes are done so that people that are making the decisions, which is the replay official in the stadium, are following the processes going through, and that, for the most part, the words clear and obvious are coming out of whatever ruling. In the command center, that they're supposed to track that, make sure that the processes and assist to get it on track. And then we're doing that. And then we're doing evaluations during the week, going through the process, going through the plays, things that you'll see on training tapes, making sure that we bring everybody tighter together on judgments, rulings, rules, and processes. So that is the position that I took with the COC. And as of today, due to some unforeseen issues, the first 5 weeks of the season, I'll be working as a Big Ten Network rules analyst out of the Fox LA studios. So I am not going to be in the command center the first 5 weeks.
Oh, you getting TV time. TV Steve.
And they were nice enough to remind me that week 1 I will be sound only. So I've always said radio would be my best avenue. So I am filling in during the interim. But we never know, that is obviously something that has come up in the past decade. And there, so in addition to all that stuff, I'm going to add that to my resume.
But keep in mind, Steve, you got a limited time to talk now. You can't be like you were when you were on the mic on the field.
I can talk as long as I want. They can shut me off as soon as they want.
Now, Steve, when you talk about the training and stuff that you were going to be doing, is that strictly just on the replay side, or from that central command where you also going to tie in a judgment and different things of, on-field stuff as well?
Unofficially, as always,
right.
I'm going to make a few notes, look at a few DV Sport, and the different groups that I'm on is we're going to present plays. We're going to ask people, the what ifs. How would this best be officiated? I will throw in my 2 cents, along with the various amount of great officials across the country. And I know we'll talk about this later, but Craven, you and I are still actively involved in training.
Right.
And the thing about officiating is anywhere you can see something once and get it in your mind, if it happens to you, you're a step ahead. So I don't think that will do. Officially, no, I'm not a trainer or evaluator for on-field officials,
okay.
but I will not be shy of discussing a play with someone, and not that you got it right or wrong, but it's certainly a play that we might want to talk about how it was officiated and how we might take it the next time.
Right. And with all of the different things that you do and how you are so well connected when it comes to the officiating world, when all the different spring leagues that you have been involved with, and we'll talk about the USFL, but you have a lot of connections and relationships that you built with people, even like myself. I wouldn't be afraid of, hey, Steve, did you see play, let's talk about it. And I know you've always been open and engaging to take that time and say, hey, this is how, I would do it. This is how I see it. And, just help bring us all along. So
well, you heard what he said. If you want the right answer, you come to Steve. You can go where you go, or if you want the right answer, you come to Steve.
Thanks,
that was pre-record, Monty.
There you go. See,
see, you're messing up already. So now you completed another successful season in a USFL, season 2, back to back. Was there any big differences that you noticed from season 1 to season 2, other than the fact of, there was travel involved this time around to where everybody wasn't in Birmingham?
Yeah, from a logistical standpoint, my job administratively, I'm not saying I took on more, but that it was a little more involved directly with the league, because after year 1, we were able to navigate it, and officiating was well in advance of some other departments. We were very much on track, so that sort of expanded. So that part was great. We were very successful year 1. We were very happy to see that we went from 42 officials in spring football to approximately 48 88 officials, having a second league. Some of the USFL people went there, which was fantastic, whatever worked. So that part, I think for the USFL, the year one growing pains weren't there. We were able to have people that work through it communicate with the new officials. Look, here's what you're going to have to go through. It's not going to be easy. Here are the things that are going to be difficult. We can help you navigate. So we had a little more help. So we felt we were pretty successful in that aspect of it. The league was very happy. It's actually a great fundamental is there we truly can teach elements of standards and fundamentals to evaluate. And we had very much a different standard to calling fouls than everywhere else. But to get to that, to even see it, to evaluate the standard was a teaching moment. And somewhere in the middle of the season, it was becoming difficult to keep the standards that the USFL set. And after a long discussion, we decided to keep them. We had to go back to the staff, get everybody on board. And not that in my role, I'm telling everybody, we did it together. Here's why we're doing it. And we got everybody to get on board. And it was just such a great season after that. It was good up until that. And then everybody got the angst out of it. And, there are certain things that we would call maybe in the NCAA level. We have NFL influence. It would certainly be called there. That wasn't to the USFL standards. And that's where, in officiating, sometimes you say, here's the rule and here's this, but do what your supervisor wants.
Right.
Well, that was evident, but it's not a top-down situation. And the XFL was run with Dean and a group of people, and I commend them. They're a great people to work for. Ron Baines, Mike Pereira, they are two of the best people to actually work for that will sit with you, not talk down to you. And from that aspect, I think we had a great season. 100% of the eligible people are coming back. That's nice to hear. Right. And we're looking forward to season 3.
Nice. Now, were you guys mostly doing double headers as crews as it was the first season, or was it?
Right. That was integral part of the first year. Both travel, keeping people home a little more, and expenses. League budget. We were asked to do it. Every crew was assigned one double header this year, and that's it. We had that opportunity. The way the USFL looks, it will probably not have that opportunity with another increase in home stadiums. Nothing's official, nothing's announced.
Right.
But we did have 6 doubleheader assignments. Every crew got one. It just worked out that way. It kept our budget intact, and not that it was a stress point. As you know, there are pros and cons to it.
Right.
So we did one, and probably do not need to do that again going forward. But these leagues are fluctuating daily, and the goal is if 88 officials, and between the two we have 12 move on, which is fantastic, and that hopefully gives 12 more opportunities, regardless of what direction they go. And
got a chance, Monty.
I got a chip in the chair.
No,
long-winded
I'm gonna
answer.
have to take my step back down to SCIAC.
They got openings.
We have openings, that's for sure.
Yeah, I stepped off the field 2 years ago now. I might be coming back.
Hey, I don't think they noticed you left.
Yeah, well, a lot of friends and a lot of changes, and we've been part of watching this happen to others, and now we're involved. I'm going to use aware still, and if we don't like that, we can change it. But I'd rather use aware. We're going to look forward to next year and hope we have the push and the guidance by the people involved in this to get as many homes as possible. There's a lot of good people out there, and there's a lot of good supervisors. And look, we still don't know what's going to happen officially,
Sure.
but we've seen this happen to others, and we've seen a lot of people land in good places. And we hope everyone, and we'll push hard from every angle for that.
Now, Steve, I can't always put timelines together, but with all this realignment and everything else happening, and we won't go into the current, were you still in the WAC when that transition happened, or had you moved on the year prior?
It was announced.
Right.
It was given that was one more year, but I was not there the last year.
Okay.
The Pac-12 had expanded, and I was fortunate enough to be what's the Purdy guy at San Francisco. He was drafted
Mr.
last.
Relevant.
I was Mr. Irrelevant for the Pac-10. I was the last draftee, and the WAC went one more year, and so I am gonna just put this out there. If I go from the COC to another conference, if you're in the COC, I'd be careful after that next year. I'm the 1 year kiss of death, apparently. And in the spring, I have folded more leagues than laundry. So,
hey, you got two good ones in.
I did. I know, we're on a roll.
Yeah.
And then also you're still heavily involved with training here in Southern California, where I brag to people, and I really wish, and I'm looking forward to the last year working with you and continuing on, that we really can get back to the fertile ground of creating great small college football officials as we used to be able to do. And you are really pioneering that and getting it back to where, I mean, it was not only did we have great officials to work the local games, but we were producing officials that were prepared, trained, and ready to go to the next level at a better rate, in my opinion, than most, because we had so much opportunity here in Southern California. So now that you're going into year 2 of the SCIAC, moving on to that, what are you looking forward to this season compared to last season?
Well, the good thing is, even the year before, working with the FCS West, we formed a relationship with the SCIAC, and then when things turned, we actually embraced that into the group. As the FCS West changed, we've kept the group. We've had about 18 people move on.
Oh, there you go.
To various Division I. We have about a dozen people that are involved in D2 and NAIA, so we're proud of that. I think what we found is having the SCIAC come out of COVID, we were more involved in the various high school groups, and there was certain training that we took from college to the high school, and we see several of those people now in the SCIAC. I think what's happened is we have to go back a little bit more grassroots. Craven, I think we would agree with that in looking at some scrimmages.
Yes.
Which means, with everything going on, a third of the group, a third of the roster officials are from out of the area, because the word inclusion, it means including good officials from anybody who can reach us. And
right.
We've done a great job with that. I think we have to come back to the local group, and what we tell them is, we expect you to officiate, know the mechanics and all that. What we need in the SCIAC is, we're going to teach you those extra points, the finer points of the game, a little more advanced. The mechanics, the basics are going to be better. I mean, just signals, mechanics, movement have to be top.
Even while we were there, I think what you guys do is the management of how to run a game, the evaluation, supervisors, mentors, like that's the big thing that I got out of coming out of SCIAC.
And to be honest, I'm part of a very large group. I mean, I think it's 7, Craven.
Yeah.
And look, we're all equal, but we don't ask them to do anything that we don't push ourselves hard to do. All of that, Monty, that you mentioned, we sort of implemented, and this is not my credit, but coming up through the Pac-12 when it first started, and working with NFL and college, there are things that we decided were going to be better. They weren't outside of the standards, but ball mechanics and substitution mechanics.
Sure.
I mean, we worked real hard to perfect that, and we had no problem once we're in agreement. And I'm going to bless Carl Richens for letting us do this. We didn't care who we took it to, and we took it to this level. And look, it's in our NCAA mechanics now, and not that we invented it, but we certainly implemented it first, and we tried to perfect it, and people watched and apparently agreed with it. So we're not going to ask them to honestly to do anything that Craven or Ashante you're not going to do on the field, and you're not going to push yourself to do. And that really is the evaluation process. And in that, we're not as concerned with the judgment, but boy, we are going to go play by play on movements, on appearance, on signaling, on understanding that every play has a different set of mechanics and what you need to be alert for. And so hopefully we're giving them not only preparation to be the best officials for the SCIAC, but to give them an opportunity that somebody at the next level is going to want them to work for their conference. And now we have to get to the junior college level and see if we could
there you go
step them up a little so we have more. We don't need to be set. I think we're at 45 or 46.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all good with 55 and giving everybody that opportunity at this level,
right,
to work with people that are just want to be at that next level and be the best they can.
You're right. I argue, I shouldn't say argue. I tell people all the time, I miss the days of Southern California when, getting a schedule in a SCIAC, you were happy getting 4 or 5 games because that's all you were getting. And then you were getting still, 10 games or whatever the case may be at the community college level, because it's a different game, different aspects each side of it, but getting that aspect where you can move up and work at that Division III level, but still see kind of just the raw talent that Southern California community college players bring to the game.
Oh yeah,
allows you to just see a game at so many different levels.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're thrilled to look at the rosters of the Pac-12, the Mountain West, the Big Sky, the WAC ASUN over the last several years.
Right.
To see how many people that unfortunately we can't use to work our games, but
right,
now they're getting that opportunity, and we just want to keep that thing rolling, and when there are spots, hopefully they'll ask us the question of who's next, what's next, and we can be very honest with them.
Here we go. Oh, that you was about to say something, Shanti.
No, I just was going to tap on, what I'm saying. Me and Monty came up through that SCIAC, like you said, Steve, and it was different from JUCO, but it prepared you for another level where you knew what to expect. And now, like you said, the game management to now where I'm the level I got when I got in the SWAC and just realized it's a production, but what I learned in the SCIAC helped, whereas others didn't understand that evaluation of, this way, like you said, got movement, proper ball mechanics, like you said, the stuff that people got critiqued on. At that level, I was like already getting critiqued on, like, hey, move with a purpose and all that, signals, proper signal and all that. So
yeah, and look, what we do, things are going to change. There's going to be better ways of doing it, but I think the discipline to say, okay, if it's better, let's do it and let's perfect it. And hopefully we share it, because we want at the level that everyone on this is at. If there's something that's changed and something that's better, boy, I want to hear,
I want to
hear about it and get it to these people.
Right.
Quicker. There's no harm in seeing how advanced that they can be.
Yeah.
Now I have another question, kind of going back to your new position, and then something happened today, that's going to keep you
TV Steve.
TV Stevie.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Your new position with the COC was going to be in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yeah, they're built. Yeah, their command center this year is in Pittsburgh at DV Sport. They built out a command center there while they're building their own in Chicago at their headquarters.
So wouldn't it have been better to get the last 5 weeks of the season here in Fox Studios in Southern California?
Hey,
So throughout my career, I don't have many things in the proper order. So this just again goes along with me. I get all the things done, but I certainly don't get them done in the proper order. Yeah,
I just thought about that. Like, hold on, you're gonna spend a nice weather time.
but
Here.
the way we travel today, it's so casual, and now we go to so many places in uniforms and all that.
Yeah,
When's the last time you broke out your winter coat?
that's true. That's true.
You will find out, Steve. You will
Right.
find out.
And I'm sure for the Friday arrival with the weather, I'm going to be leaving on Wednesday a lot. So.
Right.
And I boy, I don't know how to say this, but Southern California Jewish people driving in the snow does really not correlate. So this will be interesting. I don't know if they have Uber snowplow, but we're gonna investigate.
I don't want the Uber to drive me. I just want you to pile a roll in front of me so I can take my rental behind you.
There you go.
There you go. So you are always have been an expert on the rules and stuff, Steve. Where do you see the effect of the timing changes and stuff coming to college football this year? You think they're gonna have a big effect other than on paper?
We looked at this because in the spring leagues we implemented at the behest of the NFL and the NCAA starting the clock after incomplete passes during a certain amount of time.
Love it.
And they looked at that and they charted, the NCAA charted all different aspects, the timeouts, how long we were stopping the clock on first downs and how many incomplete passes. And they were looking to even our information, how long before the snaps. But if you have a game, let's say with 40 first downs and maybe 15 of them are situations outside of 2 minutes, where the runner, if they get a first down and the runner goes out of bounds, they're going to wind that anyway. So where truly the first down was, and let's say they don't run a play, the average plays run in 24 seconds. You're talking about 360 seconds, about 6 minutes, and not, that's probably exaggerating. If they run a play every 30 seconds, 360 seconds, you're talking about 12 plays. And I think Steve Shaw made a big deal not a big deal. He made a point that I think our average plays were 178 and the NFL was 151. Mm-hmm. I think the USFL was in that 145 to 150 range with winding the clock after incomplete passes. Right. So I think we're gonna be about 10 plays. 10 plays, right. I think they're looking at that for player safety. I think winding the clock, I agree. There's probably a higher percentage of passes in a lot of the NCAA games than maybe the spring league. The NFL certainly has a much higher percentage of passes complete. They wouldn't have had as much impact. I think it's about a dozen plays. And I don't think it has an impact. You can still run the plays fast. They can still try to wear out the defense. I don't think they're going to get into a situation where they come down to that last 5 minutes of the game anyways. If they can get it down to wherever they schemed it, they're fine along the way. So I don't think it's going to alter really someone going crazy that, we didn't have enough time to win, enough plays to win the game. They'll manage that. So I think they got it down to about a dozen plays.
Okay. Now here's going to be the toughest question I can give you all year long. This coming weekend will be Ashante's first time full-time at the FBS level. I don't know if you have enough words to help him prepare for it, but is there anything you could tell him to prepare him to be a full-time FBS official?
Well, no. First of all, if you're not ready today, you're not ready. So I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Steve.
So let me just say this. Just prepare that the level of anxiety from a coach, the level of scrutiny, the speed of play. You've been out there in practice and all that. It's still a little bit different. So gear yourself up for quicker, faster. And we've always said this, you don't get to skip any of your pre-snap. You just get to add more.
Yeah.
And that includes your communication. Whatever it takes to make that slow down and fit into your compartment. That being said, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with who's going to be out there. Find someone out there that you certainly can have a conversation with at halftime to whatever it does gives you that calming effect. And if you don't have the right answer, don't make it up. Try to give them the I'll get right back to you. And hopefully halftime comes and you'll be on the other side.
There you go.
Yeah, see, he's
Run
taking it to
for
give
it.
to his crew.
But walk out like you belong there and enjoy the heck out of it. You're gonna have a good time.
Thanks, Steve.
I had to write that one down about, you don't get to skip your pre-snap, you just get to add to it.
Add to
I
it.
agree with you 100%. I just never thought of it in that way because it definitely does not get any shorter. You only add certain steps to it. So yes, that did go down into the notebook to make sure that I bring it up in my first pregame that I get to conduct myself, which should be rather fun.
You're gonna have a first time you hit that microphone and face whatever you're facing.
I hope it's a false start, a DOF.
Do all that stuff, and they always tell you look at the one person and do
kick
all
out
that.
of bounds, kicking team.
Yeah. Find the one person, just talk to them.
Yeah,
it actually works.
It is crazy though. It's a week of first for everybody.
I know all of us on the call. That's true. All of us on the call.
But it's probably the 10th time we've had a first, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
This is the first time they just gonna put a microphone on me.
Wow.
Well, I'm not going to say specifically in your case, but do remember you have a microphone on you.
Please remember.
and which button? Because my off switch didn't always work.
Oh,
right.
But I have not. I didn't say I didn't say any magic words because I usually don't. So you just have to decide if you do sprinkle magic words. Make sure you put that on and off switch.
Steve, you've been around me enough to know that I do like the magic words, but my rule of thumb for me this year is no magic words once I leave the hotel.
There you leave home.
No, I know I can't go that far. I have to go to LAX every weekend.
Oh, and that's good. Practice, when you leave the house, leave the hotel, it starts there.
Right.
How you're gonna be that day starts right there.
Yeah, I know it's just, or it really should be, the morning of that is just
locker room talk. Right. How you talk in the locker room. It to me, I couldn't do it.
Right. I know
because I didn't want to. I didn't want to accidentally. That's just part of my. Now the other thing is, when you bring people over and your microphone's on too. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I had a fall practice, and I thought I had flipped it off. Well, I did flip it, but sometimes if you don't pull that thing all the way up or down, it doesn't go off. Thankfully, the only thing I said was "thank you" as I was talking. I was like, "Oh, that was me." Off.
Yeah, I've had a couple. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And then everybody's yelling in the O2, your mic is on. I go, what did I say?
Yeah, we got to.
I usually know what I said.
The art of the poker face too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Steve, it's a pleasure always having you on the show. I look forward to working with you this season as we continue on in the SCIAC, and trust me, I will still be still in my moments of time weekly to say, hey, look at these certain plays, and you will be one of those that I go to as a resource, as I've always done. And then now you'll probably be texting me at halftime.
I think he'll be highlighting them plays for you.
Right.
Every play is somebody's learning. I'm always learning. It's
right.
My plays were out there. Your plays will be out there. If we're bothered by that, we're in the wrong stuff.
We're in the wrong business. But I look forward to seeing how everything advances for you. And I know right now it's the Kayak, but I know at some point in time in the very near future, there, you have too much information and too much leadership in you to not at one day be a supervisor at a level that people are clawing and itching to get to you. And I look forward to that day coming for you real soon. And I really hope you get the opportunity because it's well deserved. But we love having you on the show. We really appreciate you being so unofficial with this.
Hold up, Cravon. We forgot. Oh, my bad, Steve. Monty, you gonna introduce Steve to your wine club?
Oh, I know Steve loves wine.
Steve's a wine.
Absolutely.
I like going to wine tasting.
Oh man,
is this an option?
I opened a whole wine bar, lounge, salon.
Did you?
Out here on the Central Coast, absolutely.
Oh,
you had never heard of this, Steve? He's always advertising this.
Oh, I almost. The wine in the back is some of mine, Steve. We got a cab.
Well, then we can take one trip up the coast.
Oh, absolutely. The fellas came up for Juneteenth this year.
Oh, nice.
Shut down the whole street. Basically, I shut down the whole town. It ain't that big.
Intentionally or?
Intentionally, yeah.
Okay, good. That's better. Permit-wise, yeah.
Yeah. So just got a wine club. Got the finest Pinots around, Steve.
All right. Well, we're in.
Perfect.
We're in. And there's a few people in your replay club that you're going to want to get that out to. It seems that replay and wine somehow go hand in hand.
literally.
Not at the same time, but
right. No, I think I talked to Hannah before too. Absolutely.
Oh, and yeah, there you go. Yeah. There's another one.
Right on. But Steve, we really appreciate you. Don't go off yet because I got a question for you.
Okay.
Wait, because I just got some information I got to run past you.
You got it.
But thank you for coming on the show. Welcome back to season 4, everybody. And look forward to seeing you on Fox.
Congratulations.
Have a great season, everyone.
The next time you're traveling up the picturesque Pacific Coast Highway, join us for happy hour at PCH Street Salon and Wine Lounge. The heart of the Pacific Coast Highway is in Lompoc, California.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Remember to please like and subscribe, as the Unofficial Lounge is available on all your podcast streaming outlets, including Apple, Google, Spotify, and Anchor. We look forward to you joining us next time in the Unofficial Lounge.